Before I take a 10-day hiatus, I just want to say thank you to everyone who subscribed and stuck around for all the videos that I've been putting out. Whether you were here during the daily uploads, the week uploads, or finally, whenever I get around to it, uploads. I just want to say thank you. It means a lot to me that you've subscribed and stuck around and kept watching my videos. But before I get into summarizing the year before I go on my hiatus because of my birthday next week, after which I will be back. Be sure to give this video a like, comment how your 2025 went, and anything you learned along the way. Make sure to also subscribe for cultural commentary and rants from a man caught between generations. And last but certainly not least, feel free to join me at the Zillennial Nexus Point Discord. Link will be in the description below. 2025 for me was not a glow up or a comeback story. It was something quieter, a year where I chose fear for the first half, and I chose love when reality dismantled the doomer light mindset I had adopted piece by piece. So to be clear, I've never gone full doomer, but I went doomer light for that early part of the year. But anyway, I started that year rarely leaving the house, using daily uploads as a structure and a shield from going out, and taking my own advice on long gaming sessions to save money by way of not spending on admission to do anything else or on food and such. Well, food outside of groceries. I wasn't miserable or hopeful. I was just resigned, like Tyler Durden said, this is your life. See, late in 2024, I had absorbed the belief from this guy who appeared on Legion of Men's channel. I actually tried tracking down the original video, like the original video from the original guy that Legion of Men watched on his channel and then did his commentary on and such. The original video's gone from YouTube. It was something about how going out isn't worth it anymore in 2024. You can probably find it in Legion of Men's channel if you really want to track it down, but I'm not up for that. Anyway, also, later on in this year, I took in a lot of content talking about how life as a single man is brutal and awful, while reality told me, actually showed me that it wasn't. All of this was avoidance dressed up as wisdom. Now, thankfully, I started getting away from that mentality in April when I went to The Martian at the museum for Massachusetts Space Week. I decided it would be worth getting out there to go see my favorite movie in a way no TV or normal theater can replicate. That being in the OmniMax dome of the Mugar Omni Theater. See, in my opinion, or I've realized, some experiences are categorically better outside your home, but I didn't change my life that night. It was more like the doomer certainty began to crack. Now, in May, Thunderbolts made me break my streak of skipping seeing movies at the theater because I'd committed to keeping costs as low as possible in order to work as little as possible at the instant gratification job in the name of keeping up daily uploads. Now, Thunderbolts did prove that I could enjoy going out again, but let's be honest, it was basically a more elevated version of the thing that I do at home with watching movies and TV. The difference for The Martian at the Museum of Science is that there was a panel that I think I mentioned in the video I did talking about that experience. Bunch of experts talking about how humanity would actually get to Mars. And quite frankly, it was really cool. Anyway, in early June, I had the Switch 2 arrive, and that was fun. but it didn't replace real experiences. And yes, it is pretty iterative, but I'm still glad that I got it. Yeah, consumption alone didn't fill the gap. Now, doomerism never promises that consumerism would fill the gap, but to an extent, I think they would probably say that gaming is a decent cope. DBDR doesn't think so, or at least not for DBDR personally, but I think it has its ups and downs, and I think it's healthier in small doses, or maybe 1 day a week of a 12-hour play session. No, once a month for a session of that magnitude. Now, this whole doomer light mentality became really undone when I went out to Adult Night at the Museum of Science in July. As I talked about in the video about that, I took my first ride on the train as an adult. I went out early so that I could go to Moonwalkers at the Soldier's Castle, which was a really cool immersive experience. And then I used the extra time to track down the Goodwill Hunting bench and get that picture of myself sitting at the bench like Robin Williams and Matt Damon. Great day, great experience. Then my friend and I went to the Blaze Pizza, that's a short walk from the Museum of Science, and then we went to Adult Night at the Museum of Science, where we got to experience the museum at nighttime. Like the actual exhibit halls, not just the planetarium and Mugar Omni Theater like I did on the day of Martian at the museum. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I realized I felt more alive going out to the museum and experiencing everything that it had to offer than I did sitting at home playing video games. The Doomers had told me the outside world had nothing to offer, and I'd say that day alone, between Moonwalkers, the Goodwill Hunting bench, and Adult Night at the Museum of Science, completely disprove that. Now, if these are things that you personally don't enjoy, I guess maybe then it doesn't have something to offer, but there is something for everyone out there in terms of activities that aren't just staring at a screen or inputting commands through buttons, or there's a larger scale version of that that's more immersive. But moving on, in August, after getting fed up with my mom's cleaning frenzies, I decided to test out going to the AMC at the Boston Common as a regular habit with that one outing that I did that video on. I liked it so much that less than a month later, I expanded my job availability to fund going out, and I signed up for AMC A-List so I could spend a flat $26 a month to make every Saturday like that, seeing a movie there. In the meantime, I went back to the Mugar Omni Theater with the same friend and another friend to go see Jaws there for its 50th anniversary re-release, and that was amazing, though I realized, in hindsight, going to the Aquarium Theater would have been much more fitting, but I digress. Anyway, the day after that, instead of just sitting at home, I used the weekend pass to go back out to the Boston Common, well, back out to the city and then go to the Boston Common, where I just spent the day at the park, you know? I walked around, I sat at the bench for a bit, I got food from the Dunkin' and the McDonald's across the street, and I realized I wasn't forcing myself, like, I know this is in my best interest, but I don't really want to do it. I was like, I want to go back out. I want to go to these places. I want to binge real life, as the do more stuff ads at AMC said to do. Now, that ad may not have been effective at getting me to spend the $7 for the subscription for those tickets, but it was effective at convincing me to go out into the real world, and I've realized the doomers are wrong. Now, it wasn't all perfect. Yes, there were panhandler encounters I've told you about, like the person who asked me for 50 cents on the day of Moonwalkers and Adult Night 1, the guy who called me Jeffy's bad word before I left for the museum. Those few bad encounters do not validate the doomer claims of everyone is awful or single men or social pariahs, because doomer logic only works if you let outliers overwrite the baseline. Anyway, jumping to September, I had my library card. I tried out the library briefly. Then that first Saturday movie, or the first Saturday with AMC A-List, I went to see The Long Walk for the first official Saturday movie, and it was an amazing experience with the way that people reacted to what was happening on screen. And the movie itself was really good. But then I went to the Toy Story re-release later that day, and I've told you about Buzzkill Lightyear. We're not gonna rehash the story of that clown slash hypocrite here. But anyway, the next week I had a nice simple movie followed by what almost was a meet cute at Burger King that didn't pan out because I didn't have the nerve to ask for her number before I got up and left. And then the weekend after that, there was the subway ride. The first time I took the subway as an adult after having taken the train for the first time as an adult 2 months earlier. I was a little nervous. I did feel a little motion sickness from the way that the subway cars moved. But what matters is the strangers around me were really nice, patient, and generally kind about the whole thing. Like someone trading places with me so that I could have a little more room to hold on to something. People who helped explain how exactly everything works, like in terms of proper subway etiquette. Now, the doomers would be like, they're not going to help you, they're all going to be awful, bruh. But in reality, most people were neutral, and a decent number of them were kind and understanding and helpful too. Now, in October, I finally went all in with the museum and aquarium memberships. On my first museum trip after my early showing of Bone Lake, I went to my first lightning presentation since the one in July at Adult Night 1, and I got a front row seat this time, after which the educator was really enthusiastic about my questions and observations about the Tesla coils and whether they were precursors to modern wireless chargers, like the very one that's recharging the phone that's recording this video. I also increased my competence with public transit by buying a Charlie card that I could reload so I could have something reloadable rather than having to buy a new ticket at the fare vending machine every single time, because what if they're out of paper and they don't print? And I took my most ambitious trip yet by taking the Orange Line all the way up to Assembly Row, where I was able to go see Avatar 2 in IMAX 3D after the Boston Common location canceled my IMAX 3D screening for that day. I forgive them though, because I'm pretty sure new releases should take priority anyway, but whatever. Now, I want to clarify something. All these people who were awesome and nice to me, none of them were customers facing employees, except for the educator at the Museum of Science. But hey, even with that taken into account, doomers would still claim that they secretly hate single men like me just for existing, or that they would be unable to hide their contempt. I respectfully disagree, because I'm pretty sure if they did have any contempt for me just existing as a single man in his late 20s, they would have a much more difficult time hiding it. But again, I saw no contempt from anyone. Yeah, at the museum and the aquarium, the Boston Common, AMC, everywhere I've gone, no one's been hostile to me, except for the guy who called me Jeffy's bad word, but that was an outlier. Couples didn't give me dirty looks for being a single man out and about. Basically, contrary to what the doomer mentality preaches, single men enjoying public spaces is not a transgression. It's not something that makes them social pariahs. People just go about their business. And hey, like I said, some people can actually be really nice if you give them a chance and talk to them. None of this would have happened if I had let fear continue to tell me that people hate single men, going out isn't worth it, or that being single past a certain age is a failure. Because reality showed me most people are neutral, many are capable of being kind, and a few are unpleasant. Mostly the guy who called me Jeffy's bad word, but it's survivable. So I'm going to wrap it up here by saying it's worth going out. You don't need permission or perfection. You just need to go out. You need to keep going out and doing things that you enjoy. In 2025, I chose fear for the first half, and I decided to choose love in the second half when I discovered going out isn't that bad and can be very beneficial. For 2026 and beyond, I'm done choosing fear. From here on out, I choose love. Be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Comment what you think about all this. Subscribe for cultural commentary and rants from a man caught between generations. And last but certainly not least, feel free to join me at the Zillennial Nexus Point Discord. Link will be in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.